Good morning, E39 source. Bobby here with my new 1997 BMW M3. This is just going to be a little introduction to the car in its current state, and just showing you a couple plans that I have for the future. So let's get started. This car was a Florida car all its life until Ryan and I flew down last Thursday, picked up the car and drove it back up here to New York where I go to school. It fared pretty well for the most part, although as you can probably tell, it's missing one of the kidney girls that fell out somewhere along the way. Going around the exterior, it's really in pretty good shape. There's a small crack in the front bumper right there, and it's missing the brake ducts on both sides, but that's because it's missing the belly pan, and on these cars all those parts kind of work together. So I will be picking up a belly pan sometime in the near future, and I'll get those brake ducts back in as well. About the only issue with the paint is there's a couple rock chips on the mirrors, and the clear is starting to come up on the mirrors just a little bit. I'll have those resprayed. That's not a big deal, and really not a priority to me right now. This car does have the M contour wheels on it. I'm not sure what style they are, but honestly they're in pretty good condition for being 19 years old. There's a little bit of carb rash, a little bit of marks, but honestly for being 19 years old, it's really in remarkable shape. This being a Florida car, there is not one spot of rust on the whole car, which is definitely a plus for me. It does have the amber lights on all the corners. I'm debating on whether I want to change those to clears or not, but for now I'm just going to leave them stock because there are more important things that need to be addressed. There really are no imperfections in the body other than a small dent. You can see it right there on the rear quarter panel. But honestly, that's really the only dent on this car. There are a few light scratches and whatnot, but the body really is in remarkable shape. Moving on to the interior, this car has a Dove interior, so it's Arctic Silver over Dove. The leather itself is in, again, really good shape for being 19 years old. I mean, granted, there's a little bit of wear here and there, with the exception of the back seat, which I'll get to in a minute. This car does have the 5-speed manual, which I've been doing pretty well with, honestly, for my first manual car. I've really been doing pretty well with it, all things considered. Let's see what else. This car has the 10-button OBC. I believe that was an option, but I'm not entirely sure on that. So if somebody knows better, you feel free to correct me. This car also has the automatic climate control and the I believe it's the C33 radio, and currently the volume does not adjust on the radio, so I'm not sure if that's something internal or what, but I'll probably replace it at some point in the future. I mostly use a tape to aux adapter anyway, so it's not really a big deal. In terms of mileage, this car currently has 203,824 miles on it. Now, while that is a little bit high, it really does not feel like a 203,000 mile car. It pulls strong, drives well. I mean, there's really no big issues with it. The exception of the water pump bearing is making a little bit of noise, and the thermostat is stuck open, so I will be replacing those in the near future. I have the parts ordered from FCP Euro, and we will go from there. But like I said, in terms of mechanicals, it really seems pretty solid. This car does have the 4-spoke steering wheel. I'm not a real big fan of it, so I think I'll keep it around for now, like I said, as I'm kind of sorting the car out, and then eventually replace it with the 99 3-spoke or the European 3-spoke wheel. In terms of the rest of the interior, as you can probably tell, the car is missing the sunroof switch panel. That'll be replaced at some point. And additionally, the headliner is sagging a little bit around the visor lights and towards the back, although you can't really tell towards the back unless you have the windows down. In addition to that, the sunroof slider is missing the fabric on that, so I'll have all that recovered all at the same time. And of course, being an E36, it has the typical glove box sag This car does have an ASC delete. ASC is the automated traction control. So I will be adding that back at some point in the near future because I definitely want to have it around for the winter time. And the only lights on the dash right now are the ASC and the airbag light. The ABS light does intermittently come on, but that's just because of the ASC delete, which will be remedied. Moving on to the back seat, this is where pretty much the problems with the leather are. As you can probably tell, it's a little bit worn. There are some slight rips and tears in the bottom seat cushion. Those are fairly cheap to replace, so I'm not real worried about that for now. Also, the rear seat cargo nuts are a little bit stretched out. I believe I read a DIY where you can just pop off this back seat cover here and basically redo the elastic. So I'll do that at some point. Like I said, no rust anywhere on the car, no rust in the door seals or anything like that. The door panels themselves are not in the best shape. I have not had a chance to try and clean the leather on here up yet. I think with a good coat of some Chemical Guys leather cleaner and conditioner, that should definitely make it somewhat better. The other issue with not just back here but all the windows, as you can probably tell, is there was tint on this car, and you can probably tell on the other side a little bit. When we were in Jacksonville, we tried to peel it off and it came off for the most part, but there's still a lot of the sticky residue left over, especially on this side. So I will be having that either removed professionally or just do it myself. It's also on the back window, which I want to be really careful with because I don't want to mess up the lines for the defroster. Moving on to the trunk. Have some coolant in here right now. The rear trunk paneling just needs a couple of push rivets to get it to stay in place. This car does have a full-size spare. I'm not going to pull it up right now just because I have everything in the way. And in terms of the toolkit, it has everything except for the screwdriver and the wheel locks, but this car does not have wheel locks on these current wheels. So not a big deal. I can get the screwdriver for pretty cheap. Moving over to the passenger side of the car, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but these stickers here were actually made by the previous owner, and they are a very limited run because of, let's just say, legal reasons. The other issue that I've noticed is that the rear window trim is very just dried out, so I'll replace that. Like I said, again, a pretty cheap part. That's pretty much it in terms of the exterior. I'll pop the hood for you guys and show you the engine. As you can probably tell, this is the S50 B32 motor. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, it does need a thermostat and a water pump, which I have on order, and those will be done in the near future. Additionally, the fan clutch is starting to stick a little bit, so I'm thinking I'll order that and just do those all at the same time. And I actually just replaced the intake boot yesterday because it had a big crack in it and the car was running really rough because of it. Other than that, I mean, there's really no issues under the hood. I do want to do spark plugs just for peace of mind. I think the last time they were done was around 130,000 miles or so, maybe 140. I also have a set of front sway bar end links on order because when we took delivery of the car, the nut was missing from the top section of the driver's side sway link, so that was flopping around. So that will be fixed again sometime in the very near future. The wiring for the temp sensor, the auxiliary fan, and the high tone horn is a little bit messed up. Because there was a sock for a Dynan-Coulter intake that was zip tied to the bottom of the bumper. It must have gotten caught on something and yanked on that harness a little bit, so I'll be fixing that sometime in the near future. I do still have my E39 525. After I get the thermostat and water pump fixed and get this car registered and inspected, it will be for sale, and I will be making a for sale video with all the details regarding that shortly. So with that, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe for more, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.